He's back to pass. Pressure coming. He's going to get hit in the end zone. That's going to be a safety.
It's now time for Gridiron, State of the Union.
Another touchdown, Porter Ridge, and they've gone up. The score is 23-17.
Presented by DMR Reconstruction, North Carolina's leader in quality insurance restoration services, with crews on standby 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. DMR Reconstruction has your restoration needs covered. Give them a call at 704-327-4028.
He's going to hand it off to Byram. Byram on the right-hand side. He's going to be into the end zone. Touchdown, Monroe.
Gridiron State of the Union is your insider's look each week into Union County High School football.
Malcolm fires one off, and it's into the end zone. Touchdown, Piedmont.
Now we head into the DMR Reconstruction Studio, and your host, Brian Stevenson.
Week 9 and conference play is in full swing. Hello everyone and welcome to Gridiron State of the Union. I'm your host, Brian Stevenson. In the headlines tonight, Cuthbertson, Sun Valley, Porter Ridge, Weddington, Forest Hills, Parkwood, and Union Academy, all with wins last week. We will have more on those wins and a look at tonight's games with our trip around Union. And we start with our WIXC game of the week with Sideline Mike, who is in Marshville.
The Parkwood Rebels roll into Marshville tonight on a 2-game win streak. The Rebels have outscored their opponents 94-3 in those games. Last week, they beat West Stanley 41-0 in their conference opener. It was the first time Parkwood had recorded a shutout since 2009. Quarterback Gray Warrick was 10 for 14 passing for 227 yards and 2 touchdowns. Their opponent tonight, the Forest Hills Yellow Jackets, have won 2 of their last 3 games after starting 0-4. Last week, the Jackets beat Mount Pleasant 21-16 as quarterback Jared Lee ran for 2 touchdowns and threw for another in the victory. Tune in for WIXC Game of the Week. Kickoff is at 7:30. That's the report from Marshville, and now to Porter Ridge, where Reed Alexander has Game 2 of our doubleheader.
The Porter Ridge Pirates are trying to go 3-0 in the Southwestern 4A Conference tonight when they host Myers Park. Last week, they took out Garinger 52-6, a game in which 7 different Pirates scored a touchdown. Porter Ridge has averaged 39.7 points per game this season. Their opponent tonight will be Myers Park. The game will be a return to Union County for Coach Scott Stein, who has coached many games against Porter Ridge when he was the coach of Sun Valley. Don't miss any of the action as Game 2 of our WIXC doubleheader. That's the report on Porter Ridge, and now to Marvin Ridge and Bruce Verzane.
I'll pick it up for a moment, Reed. Marvin Ridge hosts Sun Valley tonight, trying to get their first Southern Carolina Conference win. Last week, the Mavericks lost to Cuthbertson in a close game, 20-12. The Mavericks' only touchdown came on a 35-yard pass from Jackson Hyman to Devin Adkins. Tonight's opponent, Sun Valley, is 1-0 in the conference after a hard-fought 28-14 win over Piedmont. Albert Funderburk scored all 4 touchdowns for the Spartans, including an 81-yard pick 6. Marvin Ridge will try to use the home crowd tonight to break their 4-game losing streak. That's the story from Marvin Ridge. And now to Chris Rogers in Monroe, who has a report on the Redhawks.
The Monroe Redhawks look to go to 2-0 in the Rocky River Conference when they play tonight, hosting Mount Pleasant. Last week, the Redhawks took down Central Academy 46-14. Linebacker Isaiah Thomas scored 2 defensive touchdowns in the win. The Redhawks have gone 28-2 in conference play the last 4 seasons. Tonight, they look to get win number 29 against the Mount Pleasant Tigers. Last week, the Tigers fell to Forest Hills. That's the report from Monroe. And now to Jeff Weiss, who has the story with Central Academy.
The Central Academy Cougars hit the road tonight to West Stanley, trying to bounce back from a 2-game losing streak. A win could get their record back to 500. The Cougars have allowed just over 7 points per game in their 3 wins this season. They are hoping to put their good defense on the Colts tonight. West Stanley only has 1 win on the season and lost to Parkwood last week, 41-0. That's the story on the Cougars. And now to Derek Skinner, who has a report on Cuthbertson and Weddington.
The Weddington Warriors beat Anson County last week 41-0. The Warriors come into week 2 of conference play not only as a favorite to win the championship, but as one of the top 3A teams in the area. The Warriors defense has been outstanding, only allowing 7.3 points per game. The Weddington offense is just as strong, averaging 29 points per game. Their opponent tonight is the Cuthbertson Cavaliers. The Cavaliers are 1-0 in conference play after the win over Marvin Ridge last week. The Cavaliers have a new player who emerged in the win. Freshman J.T. Coffin got his first varsity start and made the most of it. He had 9 catches for 123 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's the report from Weddington. And now to Ken Ogden, who has a report on Piedmont at Anson County.
The Piedmont Panthers are on the road in Anson County tonight. Last week, the Panthers fell to Sun Valley 28-14. Cameron Tripp threw for 322 yards but had 2 picks in the loss. The Panthers are now 5-2 on the year. The Bearcats are also looking for their first conference win after getting shut out by Weddington. Anson has lost 2 straight. For Piedmont, a win would give the Panthers their highest win total in 3 years. That's the story from Anson County, and now back to the studio and Brian Stevenson.
Thanks a lot, Ken. When we come back, I talk with Shane Green about a very special event coming to Union County. And later in the show, Parkwood coach Lynn Coble.
Hey folks, Shane here. If any of you have ever played high school football, the number one thing you want to do is win the game. You're going to find yourself in the red zone on occasion. That's that final 20-yard stretch between you and 7 points, or between you and a victory, or between you and a defeat. Now, you're only as good as your quarterback. So let's imagine that damage to your home is the red zone. You got fire damage, water, wind, or mold damage. Who do you want on your team, and who do you want the quarterback to be? Well, the team you want is DMR Reconstruction. Tim Farmer is easily the quarterback you want calling the plays in this situation. Folks, they'll help you deal with the insurance adjusters. They'll take care of the damage. They'll fix it back to way better than it was before it ever even happened. It's DMR Reconstruction. Tim Farmer's your quarterback. They are the leader in the red zone. They'll take care of the problem. They'll help you deal with the insurance adjuster 24 hours a day. Call 704-327-4028. 327-4028. They're the proud sponsors of the Gridiron State of the Union on the Mighty 1190.
Welcome back to Gridiron State of the Union. It's time now for our roundtable segment, and I'm joined by Shane Green. And Shane, Wixie is always involved in great community projects, and you've got a great one coming up on November 1st.
Well, it's cool because Operation North State does it, and what they do is they send supplies to troops who are based out of North Carolina overseas, and they do it at the holiday season. Now, a lot of these supplies are North Carolina native products, things that are made here, but also toiletry items. So we partnered up with the American Legion Post 440 in New Salem to try to raise supplies for these troops. At Piedmont, on November 1st, for the Piedmont-Weddington game, starting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you can bring any toiletry items or cash, make a donation to the American Legion guys and us from Wixie there, and it'll all go to the troops overseas, along with a huge banner that you're able to sign. It'll go overseas with those supplies to the troops for the holiday season, Brian.
We've talked before about how much it means to get just a little thing when you are a long way from home overseas. But things that we take for granted, like baby wipes, are really important for the troops just to stay clean.
Well, Emery Altman is one of the members over at the Legion. He's worked with us at Wixie. He's helped us out in numerous ways. He actually was the person that talked us into spearheading this year. He was in Iraq. He served. You don't realize a bar of soap is not just what these guys get to take the occasional shower with. This is what they use to wash their uniforms. Baby wipes sometimes are the only showers that these guys have for weeks and in some cases months when they're over there. So a tube of toothpaste, a toothbrush, a razor, shaving cream, deodorant, baby wipes, batteries, DVDs, video games, these are things that these guys and girls don't see sometimes for a year when they're overseas. And don't forget, we have a lot of female troops serving overseas as well, so any hygiene products, beauty products for the ladies would be appreciated as well.
Well, this is a perfect combination between Wixie and the community, and that will be great to see all of the signatures on that banner going to the troops. Let's hit the details one more time.
It is Piedmont High School, November the 1st, starting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We chose Piedmont because the American Legion Post 440 is out that way. That's the day that it's going to happen. We want you to bring any supplies that you can, toiletry items. If you want a complete list of the items, you can go to Wixie.com and see the list there. You can also get there from UCPreps.com. And just bring those items or bring the cash, because the cash oftentimes can be stretched further if you give cash than if you actually give the items, because Operation North State has a little better buying power than we as the public do.
Shane, thanks for joining us. And don't forget to get your supplies ready and have them out at Piedmont High on November 1st. Coming up next on Gridiron State of the Union, Parkwood coach Lynn Coble.
Shane here. Imagine this. It's the end of the game. 5 seconds left. You're in the red zone. You have a chance to call one play. You're either going to win or lose the game with this play. All right, at this point, who do you want your team to be and who do you want your quarterback to be? Imagine the red zone is damage to your home. Fire, water, wind, or mold damage. You want DMR Reconstruction as your team, and you want Tim Farmer as your quarterback because he has a darn near perfect completion ratio when he's in the red zone. Folks, they'll call the right play every time. They'll come in, they'll take care of the problem, they'll help you deal with the insurance adjusters, and your home is going to look better than it ever has before. So if you're in the red zone with your home, and it's fire, water, wind, or mold damage, you need the team that can win the game. It's DMR Reconstruction. 704-327-4028, 327-4028. Available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're the proud exclusive sponsor of the Gridiron State of the Union on the mighty 1190.
Welcome back to Gridiron State of the Union. Time now for our Coach's Corner segment, and I'm joined by Parkwood coach Lynn Coble. And, Coach, you have to feel good about the past 2 weeks, 2 wins, and outscoring your opponents 94-3.
Yeah, we've played pretty well as of late. We've talked all year about the offense and the defense clicking at the same time, and the past 2 games we've played pretty well on both sides. We just hope we can continue to carry that on over into tonight.
Well, let's talk about this offense. Gray Wyrick, 10 for 14, 227 last week. And you can't talk about the offense without mentioning Sam Mobley. You guys have really found something there.
Yeah, we've thrown the ball pretty well. Sam's a good athlete, and Gray is making really good decisions right now. And I think you have to throw Max Robinson in that mix as well. People try to take Sam away, and they game plan against him. And when they've done that, Max has stepped his game up and contributed on the other side.
Well, let's give the defense some love. They've had 2 straight outstanding weeks, and I saw them versus Union Academy earlier this season. They have the ability to shut teams down.
Well, it's funny. That's a real team effort. I think if you really look at that defense, don't get me wrong, we've got some kids that I would consider stars, but it's a collective effort. Those 11 are really playing together. Of course, Trevin Parker has been very, very solid for us all year, and those guys in the secondary have done a great job. You've got Sam and Max and Gray all playing a little bit back there. But like I say, it's just a collective effort, and they have a real desire to get to the football, and that's been the key.
You talk about a team effort, a collective effort. Is there a different feel in Rough Edge this year with the Parkwood football program?
Oh, there's no question. I mean, you can see it in our team. You can see it in our school. Really and truly, when your football team has success and there's a positive air around that, it affects everybody. And we've seen that this whole fall, and it's an exciting thing.
It goes without saying that the past few years have been tough. How difficult was it to get these guys believing, and what's it like to see that success on their face and for them to finally get it?
These guys wanted to work. They wanted to be successful. From the very first day I was here, you could tell that they wanted to make this thing happen. We've got a great junior and senior group here, and they've done everything I've asked them. And it's really exciting to see them have success. And it's been my prayer ever since we started this thing that they would see and reap the benefit of the work they put in, and we're starting to see that. And it's just exciting, and I hope we can finish this thing off right.
Special thanks to Coach Lynn Coble for being our Coach's Corner guest this week. It's now time to look at our UC Preps Phenomenal 5. Coming in at number 5, Piedmont, number 4, Sun Valley, number 3, Monroe, number 2, Porter Ridge, and holding on to that top spot, Weddington.
Time for Extra Points.
In my Extra Points tonight, as we get into conference play, there are 2 games that I think are key to a possible championship run. The first is our WIXC Game of the Week, Parkwood and Forest Hills. That game could propel the winner to contend for the conference title in the Rocky River. And Piedmont is at Anson in the Southern Carolina. Piedmont needs a bounce-back win after losing to Sun Valley last week. And with that, we are all out of time. Thanks to our title sponsor, DMR Reconstruction. And thank you for listening. We've examined the state of our union, and I can report it is good. Good night, everybody.